Warning, this podcast discusses paranormal activity and other topics some might find disturbing. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Ghost Gossip, the little haunted corner of the podcasting world where the spirits spill the tea, the walls whisper, and sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. I am your host, Ashley, and today we are talking with Jeremy Jolly of SOCO Paranormal. Before we jump into Jeremy's episode, I have a little favor to ask you. If you enjoy this show, would you please rate and review Ghost Gossip for me? That is a surefire way to help push my podcast to new listeners, and I would be forever grateful. Okay, let's get to know Jolly.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Third time's a charm.
Absolutely. How's the weather?
It's much better. We finally got the Spectrum people out here yesterday, and it was struck by lightning.
Oh, okay. Where are you out of?
I'm South Carolina.
Okay. That Spectrum's big here too, but we were like, oh, Spectrum just has Colorado, but no, it's got everywhere.
It's everywhere. We hate it.
Yeah, no, that's us too. It's like a stronghold on us, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, we have some other options, but not many. And it's just like, it's the process, the switch out process is it's such a pain in the ass.
It really is.
Yeah. And I have 3 teenagers. So it's like, we have to be without internet. What? And it's like, oh my gosh. And sometimes it's just easier. It's just like, okay, we'll just deal with it.
Like Chicken Little. It's the end of the world as we know it.
You got that right. Thankfully this week, let's see, one was at her dad's house, one was at her grandmother's house, and the other one was with his mom. So it was only me and my husband having to deal with the no internet. So it was easy because we didn't care.
That's perfect.
Right. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So we're just going to jump right in. If you hear any background noise, I apologize in advance because we're all home. The dogs are here. The kids are here. Everybody is like moving and I'm not in my studio yet. And so I am underneath the living, literally the living.
Yeah, you're all right. I have kids. And so totally understand. It's all good.
Perfect. So let's just jump in. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where are you from? All that good stuff.
So my name's Jeremy. I go by Jolly. It's my last name. So I'm from Canyon City, Colorado. I'm a nurse normally. That's what I do in the real world. And then I do the TikTok paranormal stuff on the side.
That is so awesome. I bet your patients love you.
Thank you. So now I work from home. I work for the state of Colorado now, kind of. But whenever I specialized in geriatric and psych. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that is so cool. So how did you get into the paranormal?
So how I got into the paranormal was actually my next door neighbor. Is when we first started doing all this. I live in an apartment complex, and I have a security camera that faces like my front door and my back door. And I had caught some crazy looking orbs. And so my neighbor, he was into this stuff already, doing his YouTube stuff and stuff like that. So one day I just asked him, like, come into my house and let's investigate. So he came into my house and we were investigating, just having fun, bullshitting, and started having like cat balls go off and the oven light going on and off, and just started getting reactions. And then ever since then, I've just been hooked.
So how long ago was that?
I was about September of 2024.
Okay. So fairly recent, not that long ago.
Yeah, brand new.
Oh, wow. And so have you ever had paranormal stuff happen before the orbs?
Not so much. Whenever I was a little kid and whenever I lived where I didn't live out in Missouri, but we'd go visit my family out in Missouri. They had a little haunted doll type thing that always just scared me. And
Right.
One day my cousins had pulled it out of the closet and doors started slamming. Now, whether they were messing with me because I was a little kid or stuff was really happening, I would say that was about really only that.
Yeah. Well, kids are quite perceptive when they're young, and it's a different with kids, when they start seeing stuff and hearing stuff, it's like, ugh, you need to believe them because usually it's spot on.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And children are definitely more open to the things.
Yes, I know. Not my daughter, not this one right here. So we're blended. We have three. That the reason they're all the same age is because we're blended. My husband has two, and I have one, and my daughter's like right between his two children. And they, when we lived in our haunted house, they were each having different experiences, and nobody was telling me. And I was having so many experiences, but I couldn't talk to them about it because they were, 8, 9, 10, however old they were.
Right.
And once we finally started talking about the stuff that they were experiencing was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's real.
It is, yes. And we had orbs too. That was kind of one of the big starting points for us is we had an orb. I'll have to share the video again, but I was at a baseball game and nobody was home and I just was checking on my dogs and this orb came from underneath the dining room table like it had just been chilling sitting there. When the camera flashed on, it came right to the camera. And I was
Oh.
like, "Oh."
Yeah, yeah, it makes you think. It makes you think.
Yeah, and our resident ghost died in the kitchen. So it was in the kitchen.
Okay. Okay. So I haven't had it proven, but I've been told by multiple people that somebody had killed themselves up in my bedroom, my house, and of my apartment. And there is like evidence of where there might be of something like that happening here. And there's definitely activity in my apartment. And now that I've introduced all these dolls,
You have
I,
dolls?
yeah, I got a lot of dolls now.
Oh.
And so I think that that's definitely increased some of the activity for sure.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, when we started talking about it in our house, the activity definitely picked up.
Yeah, well, it's almost as like once you acknowledge them, it's like they want to be acknowledged, and once you
Mhm.
acknowledge, I think that they're like, oh, these people are open.
Right. Yeah, and it's like it could go either way because my brother-in-law refuses to acknowledge it. Like he's super sensitive and he's like I don't want to acknowledge because if I acknowledge then it might get worse. Where I am super sensitive, but I'm like I'm going to acknowledge because I want to talk to them.
That's awesome. That's
So,
awesome.
what is like when you started ghost hunting? Like what was your first ghost hunt
My first ghost hunt,
other than your apartment?
no, yeah, which is actually crazy. So it's a building in our hometown. It's called Saint Scholastica. It was an old building. It was a military school at the beginning. It was built in like the late 1890s. And then the Benedictine Sisters of Chicago actually came down and bought the building, and it turned into almost like a Catholic school, but it was like
Oh.
international Catholic school, and then it was like orphanage and stuff like that. And so it was
Oh.
just like a bunch of folklore around our like hometown, and so it was like a big thing for us to get into. And then so that was our very first like real big investigation, and that was
You've
Halloween of 2024.
you've done a lot in a short amount of time because I've just been following you since like 2 months, maybe 3 months when I've met Anthony and then I kind of met people from Anthony. So I haven't been following you too long, but you've done a lot just in a short time span.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, so when we first got onto it, we were first doing YouTube whenever it was me and my first group of guys that we were a team, and we were doing YouTube. And then my girlfriend Bonnie had actually said like, you should try TikTok. And so I was like, okay, cool. And then once I hit TikTok and the SOCO family started engaging and just getting like that, it turned into being something super awesome for me. And so my thing is I just want to go to the scariest places, like I got some cool places local, but everywhere else that's really cool is just out of state. So it's like, you gotta go.
Same here. We have South Carolina. You would think we have more history just based on like the Civil War and things like that, but it's really not in this state. We have stuff, but nothing like Ohio and Indiana and Kentucky.
Right. Right. And so that's kind of where I'm at too. And so it's like and in TikTok, if you want to stay relevant with people, you kind of just have to go to those places. Like we do cemeteries and I do doll investigations and stuff. And those are cool and I enjoy those. Right. And I'll always do those. But it's like once you get to like Malvern or McIntyre, those places, that's whenever it's like, okay, now we're doing the real stuff.
Yeah, that's really neat. We've been to a few different places. We've been to the Crescent, and that was super, super cool.
Is that the one that's out in Arkansas?
And Eureka
Okay.
Springs.
Yes. Okay. I've heard all about that place.
I want to go back. They have like a paranormal event every February, like late January, early February. And the first time I went, I missed it by a weekend. And I
Oh,
was like, no. So I didn't go this year, but I'm hoping to make it there next year, whether I got to go by myself or not. I want to go back because that place just calls to me.
right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I've heard of that place. My parents are down in southeast Missouri. And so
Oh,
they like my mom keeps telling me like you need to get down here and check this place out. So the history behind that place is crazy.
it is. There's a really haunted house in Missouri as well that's not far from Arkansas. And I can't remember what it's called, but I've watched YouTubes on it a few times, and that place is wild as well. I can't think of the name,
Huh.
but I bet
Uh,
your mom knows what it is.
I bet you she does because she ever since I started this. So she just actually started watching me in January as well, and that's now it's she sends me stuff all the time. Like,
Isn't that great?
yeah, I love it. I love it.
My mom listens to my podcast and she's just so supportive. She
Yeah,
just,
it's awesome when when your parents support what you are doing, and even if it's something that might be out of the normal or a little different,
uh-huh.
it's just awesome to have that mama support.
She's like, that's my little weirdo. That's mine. She's weird, but she's mine. Just like when I started getting my tattoos, my dad was like, oh, and my mom's like, we still love her.
We listen and we don't judge.
And my dad's like, I'm judging.
100.
What has been your favorite place?
My favorite place. So hmm, I would say either Haunted Sleeper Mortuary or man, I don't know. Probably McIntyre.
I've heard of McIntyre. Where is that location?
McIntyre is in Atchison, Kansas.
Okay. So it's
And
near the Sally House.
yes. And so that place though was crazy. And I don't know if it was so whenever I went to McIntyre, I collabed with Josh Anaya or Phantasma, and it was him and his cousin Tony. And they investigate that place quite often. And so they have a good history with the residents that live there. And
Hmm.
so I don't know if we just got a lot of interaction because of that and we went to the cemetery and visited the residents before,
Hmm.
or I don't know what it was, but we just had a lot of activity there as well.
Yeah, I truly believe when they know you and they're more comfortable with you and they are, I guess it's like a familiar, they do respond differently than when it's just a stranger coming in like, hey, knock 3 times.
Yes.
How did you
Uh,
die? What year is it?
Right, absolutely, absolutely. And then also, I think, I mean, the places like that, you compare like McIntyre or even Malvern, Garnett, and then you compare those places
Garnet.
that have been heavily investigated, right?
Hmm.
Compared to somewhere like Haunted Sleeper Mortuary that's like a newer location. Their spirits know how to utilize the equipment, and so then
Yes.
I think once the Haunted Sleeper Mortuary, once people investigate that place more and it becomes like a more known place and it gets going and really going, I think that place is going to be off the hook.
Do you think some places like the hauntings there, because like I've heard about Sally House, people believe like Sally's a demon or Sally is what is believed to be. Do you think like some of those places that are more regularly investigated, that maybe the energies there become what they are because people believe that's what they are? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I do, I do believe that as well. But I believe that the spirits gain, whether positive or negative, I do believe that they gain their energy, more power from the interactions that they get, right? So when you go to, we'll say like the Garnett or Malvern, like the Garnett, it has the grinner, right?
Yes,
And
the grinner.
so we have our own personal beliefs on who we believe the grinner is or what we believe the grinner is. But if you go in there and you show that fear, those spirits that conform into the grinner love that, right? And even like Malvern, you have the spirit called the One, that's up in the
Oh,
attic,
oh,
and um, and so that's. But you go up there, and most people that automatically go there and go up to the attic are already in fear. And
right.
so then it feeds those energies. And so I think that the more of that is what kind of leads that up. Absolutely.
And I think too, because I watch YouTube. I'm like, I can fall asleep to this stuff. I'll put one on and they'll just lullaby me right to sleep, talking about spirits or REM pods going off. And my husband's just like, what are you watching? I'm like,
Right.
it's music to my ears. But I truly think too, you kind of get what you go looking for. So if you're looking for something evil or demonic, I mean, sure, I think there's heavier energies there, darker presences that exist. But if you go just looking for negative, that's probably what you're going to find because that's what you're seeking.
For sure. And so going back to like our first investigation at like St. Scholastica, I believe we went in and did that investigation way wrong, right?
Okay.
We've heard of all the hauntings and the stories, you know, you hear that a nun had hung herself up in the upstairs from like a lust relationship. You hear of just different things. And so we went in, like kicking the doors in, thinking, oh, we're going to get some poltergeist activity. Like this
Right.
shit's going to be off the wall crazy. And nothing, right? And nothing. We got a couple voices, we got a couple hits on our devices. And actually, the most activity that we got that whole entire night was actually outside behind the chapel. So it's kind of crazy. So I would love to get back into this place again and go at it now that I know somewhat of kind of what we're doing in investigation wise and go at it a whole different way. So hopefully we get
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Do you think that spirits, like in these places, they decide whether or not they're going to interact with you?
Yeah, and well, because I think that that's the biggest thing is I think that I don't know if all spirits know all or if it's just certain spirits, if there's like a hierarchy. That's kind of
Mhm.
where I'm trying to go with my questionings and sometimes. Um, but yeah, I think that they know your intent. I think that they know the type of person you are, and then how you're like interacting with them. I think that they kind of judge off of that. You know, it's kind of the same thing, like whether it be fear or positivity or happiness or whatever. I think that they can engage your energy for sure. They can read your energy.
Yeah. Like I tell my kids all the time because our son is like super into this. And I was like, you have to remember they're people or they were people. So talk to them like they're people.
Yes, yes, and sometimes it's kind of tough, you know. It's tough to talk to them like they're people, and you try to because you try to always be respectful, you know. And um, I walk around saying like, "Spirit, what's your name?" Like, so I say "Spirit" a lot, and so then I'm like, should I not even be calling them spirits? Like, should I just be like, "Hey, yo, what's your name?" Like,
Dude.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, what else do you call them by if you're not calling them by spirit? Like, hey, dude, like, tell me your name, like. Because then you got a question as well, like do spirits do they know that they're dead?
Right.
So then if you're going in and you're saying spirit, spirit, and this spirit's
They're
like,
like,
hey man,
spirit?
like what do you mean, spirit? Like I'm alive.
Where?
I see you just fine. Like what you mean, man?
You mean there's a
So
ghost here?
yeah, like where we should be running.
We need to leave. Why are you, what are you looking for? Let's go.
Yeah, like why are you still here trying to talk, dude? You said ghosts.
That's,
Right?
I just have this visual in my head of like this ghost standing next to you, like, what? It's like some Scooby Doo stuff. Like, wait,
Huh.
what?
Or like, is somebody really going to talk to us right now? Like, dude, are you talking to somebody?
Did you hear that?
Right. Did you hear that bang over there?
I
Yeah,
synced it.
I seen this.
That's so funny. Yeah, well, like residual energy, and they don't even know you're there. Apparently, they're just going through their motion. They don't see you. They're just living like they're not dead.
Yeah,
That's an
just
odd statement to make, but yes.
yeah, just cruising around.
Yeah. So in our new house, we have a guy, his name is Al. He lived here, he built the house. There's actually like a huge puzzle. I need to do an investigation of the puzzle, but I'm not an investigator. I'm a podcaster that likes paranormal stuff. So, but I have equipment, but his puzzle, it is huge. It is like maybe 5 foot wide and maybe 10 foot long that he put together when he lived here. And it's all glued together and it's on the garage wall.
Oh
And
wow.
I will have a friend that's a psychic that I met through TikTok. And I was talking to her and I was like, I swear that puzzle just gives off a vibe. And she's like, whatever you do, don't take that puzzle down. And I was like, oh no, oh no, no, no. I learned that the hard way in my last house. We took out walls and that man got so mad. So no, like that puzzle stays, but It's like he's tied. It's like that puzzle. He's tied to it.
That's so weird, right? So when we were investigating the Garnett house, Justin is the owner of the Garnett house.
Yes.
And he was telling a story one time that he has a chair that sits upstairs in his bathtub, right? And we have some crazy evidence of a spirit being in that chair when me and Connor went and investigated it. And so, but the story behind that chair is that he had moved it one day out of that bathtub. He set it out in the hallway, and out of nowhere, he had a psychic call him from like all the way across the other part of the United States, and reached out to Justin and said, "Put the damn chair back in the tub." And Justin's like, "What are you talking about, dude?" He said, "Well, whatever you did, whatever chair you moved." And Justin doesn't know this person at all. So it wasn't like a friend. It wasn't anything like that. It was just a random thing. And he's like, "Put the damn chair back in the tub. You've disturbed the spirits there." And so he said,
Put
ever since
it
then, he's
back.
he's put the chair back in the tub. And so then, like when we go there, we move the chair out of the tub to try to see if we could talk with spirits. Yeah, yeah,
Wakey, wakey.
yeah. It's time to talk, guys.
Okay, so I follow him on Instagram. He follows me back on Instagram. I have never talked to him, but I've always wanted to reach out and be like, hey, you want
Yeah.
to do an episode?
The first time that we went and investigated it, that was us as my first team. We were actually Spirit Hunters 420 at that time. And we didn't get to meet him. We met up with Ashley from Pin Paranormal. And then the second time it was just me and then Connor Blaine.
Mhm.
We went together and we actually got to meet Justin. And we're talking with super freaking cool dude, super nice. So
Okay.
I would say reach out to him. He's busy, but I would say, I've only met him the one time, but he was a super cool, genuine, nice dude.
Yeah, all the videos I've seen with him, he seems super nice. And when he followed me, I was like, ooh. But I'm chicken. If I interact with people, I get more comfortable and I'm like, okay, I'll reach out. Worst thing they can do is say no. But I'm still new and I'm shy. Believe it or not, I'm very introverted. So I'm like, oh, people.
Well, you're doing great. You're doing great. I've heard about you. You're doing good stuff. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Okay, let's see. Let me see. I got my list because I'm ADHD as well. So like
All
I
right, all right.
it keeps me focused. Have you ever brought something home other than a doll? But have you ever brought something from an investigation home?
I don't know. I also have like a psychic medium that follows our team, and she says that something has followed me from Garnett. I
Oh,
would say that, I can't answer that question because I really don't know. Nothing has changed for me in my life, or you know what I mean? Like nothing super crazy's been going on or anything like that. So if there has been anything that has followed me, it's the same thing. Either I think that they're interested into what I do, or they like my energy for whatever reason, whether they be negative or positive. Maybe I give them the energy to be able to do whatever they need to do, or what. But yeah, no. So I would say that at times I don't know if they necessarily follow or if they can travel.
I think they can travel.
Right. Like, so, like, if they're like, hey, like Jolly came here, he's talking about Garnett, he's talking about David, or he's talking about McIntyre, and he's talking about Charles. Can those people come and visit you because you went and tried to interact and engage with them? So I wouldn't necessarily say that anything's following me, but I do think that spirits like to engage with me.
I really do think you have a really good energy. You put out this vibe from the moment like I watched one of your lives. I was like, this guy has such good energy. It wouldn't surprise me if something follows or not follows, but comes and visits you just because you have such a high vibration.
Well, thank you. But yeah, and that's my beliefs. Like, I don't think that they're like, oh, that's Jolly, I'm gonna go and ruin his life and just stay with him. And but I do believe that, because we were actually investigating the other night in my house, and we started getting like David and Charles coming across my new Alice box.
Oh,
And the night before, it was my buddy Phantasma's birthday, and he was investigating at McIntyre, and I was in there watching, and it was almost as they were engaging back. So it was very,
oh,
very
that's cool.
interesting. Yeah.
That is so cool. I need more investigator friends.
I can introduce you to some. I got some cool ones.
That is so cool. Yes, I have been on some investigations, but because I'm sensitive and they affect me in weird ways, I don't regularly go out because it drains me and I feel like sick after.
Makes sense. It's like joy, paranormal joy. She tell you it's like a paranormal hangover. It really is too.
Yes.
You
My
know,
last one, I had a migraine the day after, and I was like, I feel like I've been drinking, but I haven't had a drop.
yeah, it's very real, and especially when you offer up your own energy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I do that a lot. My partner Randy, he does that a lot as well. We offer the spirits our energy so they can communicate, they can come through, and they can use any of our energy.
Okay, you said something, and it like I had a question, and now it's gone. Give me a second. Let me. You were talking about. Have you ever been scratched or anything? Have you ever had anything like touch you or leave a mark?
So okay, I have okay, so me personally, I was doing an Estes method in a gas chamber. We're actually going back to this place on the 16th. Super excited. We're collabing with Vegas Paranormal. But I was doing Estes method chamber in the gas chamber, and I had my hair pulled twice. So that was a little crazy. And then in a cemetery, the only time that I have ever been like truly physically affected was in a cemetery is for me is different than a house. At a cemetery, I normally won't go and try to poke around and do things, but we were getting ready to go do the prison museum in my hometown. And where we go to Greenwood Cemetery, it's like where they had the gas chamber and they executed all the inmates and they put them there. And so it was the first time I had ever sat down in the cemetery too. So we sat down and we were just actually kind of poking at the inmates a little bit, trying to get some responses, and we didn't get nothing. Well, so anyways, it was about an hour later, and it was kind of a boring investigation. And I was just like, 10 more minutes, and we're leaving. And no bullshit. I fell out just like that. Like I was falling down, handing my camera off to my partner Randy, and fell face first into the ground. And like we rolled back over, and he went to go and film me. And at that moment in time, I don't really remember, but I told him to get the fucking camera off of me. And sorry for that word. And
You're
told him to
good.
get it off of me. And they said that at that moment in time, like my eyes were pitch black.
Oh, wow.
And so don't necessarily know what happened. Joy said that I had gotten jumped by a spirit. You never know. It was the first time I've ever been physically affected, only time I've ever been physically affected to that degree.
I
But I,
watched the end of that live. I came in right after all that happened and you were leaving, I think, or maybe you were coming back the next day. It was something right around that time period.
yeah. And so that was very real, and even a little scary for myself. You know, like, I mean,
Hmm.
you can say it was medical. I say it was spiritual. I'm a pretty in shape dude. You know, I do a lot of walking. I've been out a lot of places. I've never fell out before. And
Yeah.
there's been times we've streamed for like I was up for over 48 hours when the first time we went to Garnett, you know. So I mean, I don't believe that it was medical, but that's just my personal opinion.
No, I
Um,
agree. I agree.
but locations wise, yeah, I've seen so my friend Olivia Taylor, she got scratched at the Black Monarch in an Estes session, like on live TikTok.
Oh, wow.
My buddy Phantasma, we were doing the Ouija board in the attic of McIntyre. And during that session, he was like, dude, I got to stop. Like, my back's killing me. Like, something's pushing on my muscles. He got three wicked scratches. And then my friend Tori, she's the owner of the Haunted Sleeper Mortuary. Well, it was us and Forever Investigating Beyond and Tori, and we were investigating Malvern. And we were up in the attic, and it was just me and Tori. She ended up laying like flat first or face first on the floor, like kind of poking at the one. And she ended up getting like a burn mark on the back of her neck, which was absolutely wild as well. So I've seen three people physically get like scratched, burned, like right there in front of me live on TikTok. So pretty nuts.
Wow. I've had my hair pulled. I've been Michael, who is the ghost of the Crescent, who died from falling off of the top of the building while the building was being built.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. Now, it could be explained. Maybe I had longer hair then, so it might have just been my hair tickling my arm, but I was changing. And he's a ladies' man. And I felt what felt like fingertips caress the back of my elbow and my like upper tricep area. And it's almost like it just like did this to my arm to the point
Oh,
I thought it was my husband because he can get a little frisky if I'm changing. And so I was like, was like, stop. And I look back and he's in bed. And I
oh
was
shit.
like, oh. I was like, maybe it was just my hair. Maybe it was my hair, but my hair was in a bun on the top of my head. But I was like, maybe it was just a strand of hair that just happened to fall down.
Right. Yeah,
Mhm.
no, isn't it? And it's so weird too, because like, for me as an investigator, I mean, it sounds like you're very open to it though, and especially being sensitive. So, but isn't it weird how like something happens, maybe it'd be a noise, maybe it'd be a feeling or, like that on your arm or whatever, but then yeah, you're like, no, no, it
Nope,
wasn't. Yeah, and
it's a
I think
bug.
it's awesome. Yeah, I think it's awesome because, like it's like, oh, we're debunking it, but then in all reality, like there's no way to disprove what just happened. And so it's
Hmm.
just like, but in your mind, you're like, nope, it didn't happen like that. Like it was something else. So I understand that completely.
We had a motion light in our closet in our haunted house, and it would come on in the middle of the night, especially around 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning. And some days, like when we got back from the Crescent, it was coming on nonstop. And my animals would actually sit at the door and look at the closet, and they wouldn't move. They would just look at it. And my husband was always like, "It's a bug. It's just a bug." I was like, "That's a giant bug."
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because I would walk in there and I would like wave my hand. I would physically have to go into this closet for it to come on. So like you can't just stand in front of it and it come on naturally. Like you would literally have to really move. So I just always joke like that is the biggest bug of like I've ever experienced, and we need to call Terminix immediately if that is a bug because that is a giant bug.
Facts.
We have an issue.
That's yeah, that yeah, we got a big issue if a bug setting that off.
You got that right. Because, like, even if my pit bull's about 85 pounds, he wouldn't set it off. And he would go in there and nothing would happen. And yeah, so it was weird. But we left that light in the house when we moved. We did not bring that light with us. We were just like, we're going to leave that right there.
That's gonna stay there. It's the new piece of the house.
It's attached to the wall, and per the contract, that stays here. So, what is your favorite piece of equipment? Like, what do you like to, like, what is your go to? If somebody was like, Jolly, pick something, you go.
The flux.
So, what is a flux?
The flux is a yes/no response that works off of motion. It also detects temperature changes and stuff like that.
Is it like a light, like a red and green light that kind of?
It is.
Okay, okay, yeah,
It
same
is.
one.
So then we light it up. Red means no, green means yes, and then we can also use that for male or female, and you can just use that for a lot of just one hit questions, and so that's my biggest device for me. But also, that was also my first like real piece of equipment that I ever bought too. So
Yeah.
that could be why. But we just got this tracer wire. And so it like lights up hot spots or detects cold as well or motion. And then we've worked with a lot of different equipment as well. So I'm hoping that we can find something because I love the flux, and that's my go-to. So if somebody was to say, Jolly, you can bring one piece of equipment and it's the only piece of equipment that you can bring throughout the rest of your investigations, it would be the flux.
How do you feel about apps? That's just personal. I know a lot of investigators and psychics, and I mean, anybody in the world, they have a lot of people have a lot of opinions on them.
Yes. And so I catch a lot of crap for this, but that's okay. So I'm like a 70/30 guy. I believe in the apps.
I do too.
I think that they throw out random words, but at whatever those random words may be, I don't think that they're so random to whoever's saying them. Now, do I believe them 100%? No. I mean, a lot of them are programmed and stuff like that, but I've had too many cases to where they have led to graves, they have led to different findings as well. Well, shit, one time This is probably one of the craziest times, and one of our followers had brought it up. Her name's Lee. She brought it up in my last live, but one of her favorite times of our investigation. She's been following us for a long time. We did this place in Penrose. It's called we called it the Penrose Murder House, is what we called it, or farm or something. But we were out in a barn, and this app kept saying the mirrors are the portals, the mirrors are the portals, 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 portals. And I'm like, well, like, what's up with these portals, you know? And you hear like a door open, but it's not like not a real door. It's almost like, you know, like the old horror movies when you would open the door and it'd be like, and
Mm-hmm.
then like the fog would roll out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like that, but audibly right next to my head. Everybody that was in there investigating with us, there was three of us, they all heard it. And then the live heard it as well. And then it said Ray came through the portal. And so
Oh, that gave me
whenever,
chills.
yeah, and so when you have things happen like that, there's some truth to them. The ones that I don't like are the ones that make you allow them to like access your microphone, or they only work off of the internet, you know, like that stuff. No, I'm not a like. I mean, I'll use them just because a lot of people like to see them, like on TikTok and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see those types of apps. So I have all of them downloaded on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that I'm really excited for to try out now, I haven't gotten to utilize it yet. But have you heard of Cody or Stark Paranormal?
Yes, I've heard of Stark Paranormal. Yes.
Yeah, I would highly recommend checking him out, and even maybe reaching out to him. He's got a lot of history, but he uses this app now. It's called Transcend.
I have Transcend.
Okay, and so on that one, for him to point out an app to me is a big deal, right? He's
Yeah.
very much on the scientific side of things, but with Transcend, it's the phono or the
The
yeah,
phonics,
it's
yeah.
the phonics, and so then it's only picking out letters, and I really like that, so I'm really excited to try that one out. But my favorite's Necrometer.
Yes, that is my favorite as well. So that's funny about the Transcend app. My best friend died when I was in high school. We were seniors. She died in a car wreck on homecoming. It was the first tragic death I've ever experienced. She has come to me throughout my adulthood at different times, usually through my dreams. But on her 40th birthday, I felt her. And so I was like, I'm going to talk to her. So I pulled up the Transcend app. And now the necrophonic has said before Catherine, like out of nowhere, and says, Catherine's your spirit team, and like stuff like that. So that's why I believe in the apps, because it is the things that have happened, sometimes it's just like, so pulled up the Transcend app because I was like, I like the Transcend app because you have to listen to it to really get what it's saying. And I was like, is Catherine here? And I got a confirmation, something on it. It sounded like a yes. And then I was like, Catherine, if this is you, how did you die? And it said, car, tree, he hit them. And then I said, how old are you today? And she said 40.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I was just in tears. And then she said, on the shelf to the left, and where I was facing was the shelf on the left. And on the shelf is a picture of my current best friend and me on her wedding day. And I just got chills. She
Me
got
too.
my current best friend got married on the 22nd year anniversary of Catherine's death.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh,
so
wow.
also when I went to see Catherine not too long ago, I pulled up the necrometer, and I hadn't been to her grave in a few years. So I was kind of wandering around, and it said go east. So I was like, look, I was like, okay, I'm not Christopher Columbus. I don't know where east is. Like, okay. And then it said go right. And so I went right, and it said Sharon, and that's her mom's name. And I was like, what? And then I found her. I totally believe I've had too many experiences with the apps to say they're crap, you know?
So my partner, his name's Randy. He would have been with us today, but he's working. But he didn't believe in the apps at all, like period. And so maybe a little bit at this time. And so we go up. So Greenwood Cemetery, we have this person. His name's J.F. Lewis. It's a conspiracy here in Canyon. He was a Mason, but anyways, his grave says that he was buried or he passed away on September 31st. There is no September 31st. There's never been a September 31st.
I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Right. And so that whole night, like we were looking for his tomb. We finally found it. We were showing everybody. Well, so then the next night, we had went to a cemetery. It's called Lakeside Cemetery, and it's just another cemetery in our town. And at this moment in time, Randy's like, we've talked a bunch, and he's like, I just don't know about the apps and all this other stuff. And I was like, cool. So I was like, here, you hold on to the phone, it holds like the necrometer and stuff. Well, it started saying like, was it Alexander? Somebody, I want to say Alexander. Alexander has a message for you. And this is no lie. It said it probably 5 or 6 times. Alexander wants to talk to you. Alexander has a message for you. And we're like, what is this Alexander? Like, what's going on? So, and it kept telling us like midnight. Alex has a message for you. So we're walking, and this cemetery is freaking huge. And it's pitch black out, and we're walking. And Randy, for whatever reason, hits this tomb, and it's Alexander. And it's the day that he passed away. We got a picture of it. It was like 10 minutes or like 2 minutes till midnight. So we get it, we find it, we're on camera, and Randy's tripping. And he's like, oh, shit. He's like, so I'm going to go and I'm going to look this dude up. So he looked it up, and it was actually a mismarked grave. He actually passed away the day before. And it was marked the wrong day. And it was almost like he was trying to get that message to us like, hey, you guys are out here showing mismarked graves. Mine's here. So it was just a wild experience all on its own. And after that day on, Randy was like, I believe in the
I
apps.
was going to say, how does he feel about them now?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like I said, does he 100% believe in them? No, I mean, they're apps, right? They're made for entertainment. But what people really got to understand about the apps as well is they might have been made for entertainment, but they were made for the entertainment purposes of ghost hunting or
Hmm.
paranormal investigating. So, I mean, are there flaws? Yeah, there's flaws in every piece of equipment, right?
Yeah.
Every one of them can be set off by something else.
Hmm.
So it's just one of those things like, I mean, they say that the REM pods and all this stuff can be set off by the walkie-talkies and all this other stuff, right? And so it's like, to me, it's not so much of the apps or the equipment use, it's do you trust the investigator?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
because that to me that's the biggest thing is building, and so that's why I do a lot of like sit in my house and just chat with my chat because I want them to know who I am as a person too, like not just who Jolly is when we're out at a location or at a cemetery or battling or whatever we do on TikTok. I want you to know who I am, what I support in my own beliefs as well, and and get to know me. And then that way, whenever something happens, and I'm like, no, that shit was real and it happened. The trust is there to where they believe that, because I have no problems as well as Ashley coming up in the chat and being like, no, no, that's fake. And then doing everything in my power to show either it was real or no, yeah, you were right. That was fake. Because I just want to show the coolest, most real stuff that you
Yeah.
can see. Like I don't want anything to be fake or I don't want anything to be faked at all.
Right. And that's how I feel like I am genuine. All of my experiences are real. They were
Yeah.
very real to me. I experienced them, and I never want anybody to think that I am exaggerating or lying about them. And so, I don't get on lives much because I am socially awkward and I'll just be like, I have cheese. So I just, I don't get on there unless I'm with somebody else. And then I'll get on because I'm having a conversation and I feel a lot more comfortable. But yeah, I'm just like through my podcast, my listeners have learned who I am. And, I try to be as genuine as possible. And if I think that something is not real, especially when I go to these places, I'm like, that could have not been. No, I don't think so. Or I'll question it because I want to know that it's actually genuinely happening, not being forced to happen.
Right.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
dowsing rods. I've seen people manipulate dowsing rods, and I'm like, mm,
Right. And so I've used dowsing rods. I got a funny story about dowsing rods, but I've only used them a handful of times, if even like probably maybe two or three times.
yeah.
I wanted dowsing rods so bad. I drove all over. I mean, we drove all over looking for dowsing rods. I finally found some, and then I didn't even bring them out of the box for like the first 4 months that I had them, So, but and it's because of that, right? You hear the different stories. You hear that people manipulate them and that they're
Hmm.
easily manipulated and stuff. And so for me, like, do I think that they can give you great evidence? Absolutely. I
Hmm.
do believe that. I just personally don't use them so much because you get that backlash, right? Like, oh,
Yes.
you're manipulating them or whatever. So then instead of it interrupting your live or whatever, you just don't utilize those. But I think that dowsing rods are a good utensil for a lot of different things. It's
Mhm.
just the public persona of them and not, it's like I said, it's easy to manipulate. So
Yeah. And
it's
that's
just,
that thing. Like, you got to trust the person that's doing it. Like, we used them at our last, we went on a ghost hunt at the distillery. Sorry, it was a bourbon distillery. And I had two friends there. They are highly religious. They are not really spiritual. And so they think I'm a little weird, but they love me and they support all the weird stuff that I do. So they're like, we'll come with you. And I was showing them how the dowsing rods worked. And when I use them, I stand very still. I try not to take any deep breaths or anything, any kind of anything that would cause them to move because of what I'm doing. And we were having some really good answers come through. I mean, it was blowing my mind because I could feel them moving in my hands, but because especially her husband is super skeptical, I gave them to my friend and she was standing very still and they started moving with her and he's just like, and then I gave them to him and they started moving and he's like, what is happening?
yeah, yeah. And and that's the thing. It's very real. And
Yes,
so, but everybody's so quick to be like, no,
that's not
no, no,
real.
that's not real.
I believe
And
that.
to me, those are the people that don't either they don't want to believe,
Yes,
you
they
know
don't
what I
want
mean?
to believe.
Or they're too scared to believe. Right.
Yes,
Because that's what I try to tell people that all the time is spirits are all around you. Whether you
absolutely.
acknowledge them or you don't acknowledge them, that's on you.
Hmm.
But you don't have to be at a cemetery. You don't have to be at a haunted place to contact spirits, in my
No,
personal
they're
belief.
everywhere.
They're everywhere. And it could be residual, it could be intelligent. And that's, as the investigator, that's your job to figure that out.
Hmm.
And but spirits are all around you all the time. Like
All
I
the
don't
time.
like they're amongst us. The spirits are amongst us, and so
Yep.
it's up to whoever to believe or not believe. But I guess that's it's one of the main reasons why I do it on live and on TikTok. And so it's like, hey, you can sit there, and like I said, I don't mind the skeptics. I don't mind people saying that it's fake, and just ask them, like, hang out for a little bit, and then let me know what you think. And we've turned
Yeah.
some skeptics into believers.
Yeah, my husband was a huge skeptic. When we first bought our haunted house, we would fight because what I was experiencing, he wasn't. And what he was experiencing, he was explaining away to the point where I was getting frustrated because I was having sleep paralysis. Our spirit was like standing over me at night and keeping me awake. And I actually got really sick in 2022 to the point where I spent thousands of dollars. We were trying to figure out what was wrong. And there was no explanation medically. I mean, I had so many tests run, they could not find out what was wrong with me. And what I believe after I really started to learn about Wayne, I think, now I could be wrong. We did find one medicine was actually causing almost like rheumatoid arthritis. And so they took me off that and that solved that issue. But like with the migraines and like there was other issues. And once I started learning about Wayne, I was having things that he was dealing with. And once I started acknowledging it and learning about it and talking to him and stop fighting with him and stop trying to run him off, because at first I was trying to get him out because it was so scary.
Right.
But once I accepted him and was like, we can live here together, but you've got to stop fucking with me.
Right.
Like, you've got to stop making me sick. You can't be standing in corners. You can't keep me awake. I gotta sleep. I'm already an insomniac as it is. You can't keep waking me up, standing over me. That's creepy.
Right.
And I told him, I said, you can stay in this room. And I gave him his own room. Oh, he hated me in that room. It was like anytime I'd go in there, he's like, you told me I could be in here, get out. But once that we started living together and coexisting in the house together, he left me alone and I got better. It was the craziest thing. And it was very real to me. And like my husband's like, yeah, just na, 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 na. And I'm like, I'm going crazy because I am sick. I'm having migraines day. I'm like, I'm in the hospital having CT scans because my head is hurting so bad. Like I felt like I was in a vice. Well, then, sorry, I rambled. I remember where I was going with this now. My husband was taking a test, like studying for a test. And it was 11 o'clock at night. Our kids were with their other parents and I was asleep. I had gone to bed and all the animals, they go where mom goes. So the animals were with me and he was studying for this test and the sunroom light came on. And he said he was sitting there and he's like, and he knows nobody else is home and he knows I'm asleep. And he's like, I don't need that on right now. Can you turn it off? And he's like, he just kept studying and then it goes off. And he's like, okay, it's time for bed now. And then one night I heard footsteps over our bedroom and it moved across the room. I thought he had gone upstairs. Well, he was in the living room watching TV and turns out the next day I asked him, he's like, I heard those too. I thought you had gone up there. And I was like, I was in bed. And so he started experiencing that with me. And now when he goes to places with me and he has experiences, so he's not as skeptical anymore. He won't fight with me anymore. Let's just say that.
There's a little bit more proof in the pudding now.
That's right.
That's awesome.
At the Crescent, we were asleep. It was our first night there, and we were on the third floor. So the fourth floor is the restaurant. And so the third floor where we were directly under the restaurant, and they shut down. The bartender had told us they shut down promptly at a certain time because they are still a hotel and people want to sleep. So they shut down at 11 o'clock every night, like clockwork. If they're not done cleaning, they can clean in the morning. Well, we were sleeping. It was 3:30 in the morning. And there was scratching across the ceiling and it moved over our bed to like towards the other side of the wall. Both of us shot up and I was like, they're scratching on the ceiling. Daniel, they're scratching on the ceiling. He's like, and we both kind of looked at each other and we went back to sleep.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to check that hotel out. That's awesome.
Yes. You gotta go. It is such an amazing. There's always that one place that like calls to paranormal people, like that they just love. That's my place.
Okay.
I don't know why. I love it, and I cannot wait to go back. I love Arkansas. It is beautiful.
Arkansas. Yes. For all this shit, 'cause I was actually born in Blytheville, Arkansas. Is where I was born. I was born in Blytheville on an Air Force base, and for all the shit that you hear about Arkansas, Arkansas is beautiful,
and their roads are amazing.
Yeah, you can drive them without swerving for the holes.
Roads were like butter. I was like, there's no potholes.
So nice,
so nice. I didn't want to come home because South Carolina, when you're in South Carolina, they're so bad. They're so bad.
Yeah, it's same as Colorado. And I'm like, why? Why is this way?
I know I pay my taxes. What?
Yeah, whole different topic, but I'm like, what? Come on now.
That's for a different day. That's right.
You're better.
Is there any place that you wouldn't go back to? Like there's any place where you're just like, heck no, you can't pay me to go back there.
No, every place that every place that I've been, I've absolutely loved. Even if the activity wasn't crazy or anything, it's not always going to be crazy. But everywhere that I've been, I would definitely go back to again.
So, are you up for some rapid fire questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I've never done this before, so bear with me.
All right.
EVPs or EMF?
We're gonna go EMF.
Apps or Estes?
Estes.
Haunted house or haunted forest?
Oh, 50-50.
Okay.
But I'll lean towards the haunted house.
Talk to a ghost or see a ghost?
I've only seen one ghost. So that was probably one of the coolest things, see a ghost.
You literally answered the question that I asked myself in my head. Like I was like, okay, make a note, ask him after all of this. Has he seen a ghost?
Yeah, at the Haunted Sleeper Mortuary, I caught my first ghost.
Like, do you have it on camera?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
Here, just real quick. So have you, so I don't know, have you heard of Connor Blaine?
Yeah. Yeah. I follow him.
Okay, cool. I don't know if you've watched his last two YouTube videos.
Mm-mm.
One of them's, so they're both, I'm filming with him in both of those. One is the Haunted Sleeper Mortuary. The next one's Garnett. I highly suggest checking those out. At Haunted Sleeper Mortuary, we were sitting there, and me and Connor had never met each other than through TikTok. He comes from the East Coast. I'm Colorado. So we were sitting there, and at this time we had ended my live stream and we're filming for his YouTube. And I'm just sitting there, and people can say what they want, but you're seeing orbs, right? And
Yeah.
I know the difference between a ball of energy, a bug, and a piece of dust, right? You
They're
can
very
tell light
different.
patterns are very, very different. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, orb, and then there was something that I was like, is that you trying to manifest in front of us? And our his tripwire had hit. And I was like, oh shit. So I'm getting really excited. And I'm just in the dark filming in infrared. And he's over like across the room trying to set up a spirit box. And he's got like a little bit of light on. But I'm sitting there and I'm filming. And I see a dude in a gray suit walk right behind him. And I'm like, dude, I just seen, and at this time he's like an orb, and I'm like, no, I seen a fucking dude walk right behind you, bro. And he like starts freaking out. So, but what we caught on camera was not the dude in the gray suit, but it's a very much like cartoon figure ghost come floating through the door and up to where is now known as the flower room. But there was two of them, which is absolutely mind-blowing, because then if you watch like the whole video and you watch our Estes session in there and you watch the evidence that we pulled from our Estes session in there, you know that there was intelligence in there. It's
Oh gosh.
mind blowing. So yes, I would highly recommend both of those, because the Garnett House is his finale, and we had great evidence from there as well.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I meant to watch them. They're on my
Yeah.
list to watch, but I'm a creature of habit, so I watch the same people over and over and over. I need to add him into my rotation so that way it pulls up.
But yeah, with those, I would highly, highly recommend both of those. And it's really cool because I haven't ever been on YouTube as into that kind of aspect, like watching
Hmm.
myself being filmed or anything like that. But it's really cool to watch like the different investigation techniques. Like me and him are very different, but again, our energy together just brought amazing results.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it. Okay, best time to ghost hunt: 3 a.m. or sunset?
I like sunset.
Waverly Hills or the Queen Mary?
Let's go. I've never done either, but I want to do Waverly.
Same, I do too. Most haunted object: mirror, doll, or antique music box?
The most a haunted doll is the most thing that well, no, actually we've caught both. So we've had EVPs come out of a doll at Haunted Sleeper Mortuary, and at Mac and Tier we've had people sending screenshots of faces looking back at us in mirrors.
Mirrors are nuts.
Yeah, mirrors are crazy.
Mirrors are-
I guess like overall, like what I like the most is mirrors. I like the portals.
Would you rather investigate alone or with a team of amateurs?
Alone.
You know what? I am such an amateur. I went on that ghost hunt of the distillery, and he told me, don't whisper. Well, I mean, I don't even realize I did it. And so he sent me like all these EVPs, and I'm like, that was me. Sorry, that one was me too. I'm so
Right.
sorry. I'm horrible. That was me.
And so the reason why I say that is so for and I don't say that because they're amateurs or anything. I'm an amateur myself. So I say that because I think I've investigated with groups, and then I've also investigated to where it was just like me and Connor. And I've also investigated like cemeteries, no big locations by myself, but cemeteries by myself I have. But I think that when you're going, I think that the spirits want to engage with you. They almost want to engage with everybody. So it's almost like a cell phone tower. They're just pinging everywhere. And so I think that you're not getting like a full story. So then if I had the chance of either just investigating with myself
Right.
and other people that didn't really know what was going on, I would think I would just rather do it by myself.
I'm guessing there's a person because you just had a giant shadow walk through your thing.
Yeah. That's my girlfriend. She just walked.
I was like,
I seen that look on your face, and I'm like, did I do something wrong here? But
well, see, What I was about to ask you is a second ago, before your dog went behind you, there was a shadow right there. And I was going to ask you if somebody had just walked in that, like, kind of right behind you, because, or not right behind you, right in front of you, because right there to your left, there was a shadow move right there. And then your dog came from behind you and then went towards, and then your girlfriend walked up.
Yeah, so there was nobody there before my dog. So she wasn't even down the stairs yet once my dog jumped up behind me.
Okay, I will see if I can find that. I don't know if it was maybe just me and maybe I just saw something like, a light shift, but it was before your dog went around you. There was some kind of light shift. I thought it was somebody maybe walking into the doorway that I can't see.
Yeah, no. So that's the crazy thing with my dog. Actually, that's one of the main reasons why I'm a firm believer that they can do things physically is he would escape from my dog kennels. And so finally, I dropped a lot of money on a nice dog kennel. And we were literally gone for just a few hours. And we came back, and I pile a lot of shit up on my coffee or on my dining room table. I don't eat in there, I eat in my living room. And anyway, so I had a pair of pants that were on my regular table. It literally had the pants pulled into his kennel, and the slots are only like this big, like they're not supposed to get through there. And it was tied around the kennel bars and pulled, stretched apart. The top was stretched apart. So my dog took my pants and wrapped it around the kennel bars and pulled it apart to where he could jump out the top.
Does he also have thumbs?
Yeah, right. And so how is this even possible? To the point to where I took it to my buddy's house because it was kind of demolished then. We welded different parts on top, and there was like a side door and then a front door. Well, I never used the side door ever because I don't need to use that. It kept being opened nonstop. And so finally we had to zip tie those together too because there was no reason for it to be happening at all.
Well, I think there's somebody just like, you need to just let your dog out. I want to play with your dog. Can I
Yeah,
pet that dog?
can I pet that dog? Yeah, and that's exactly how it is now. So he doesn't go back into the kennel because I wasted a lot of money on kennels.
Yep. And that ghost is like, I like this dog out, please. I like to play with the dog. I mean, I can relate. I get it.
Right? Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know all the dogs in the neighborhood's names. Don't know their people's names, but I know their names and I love them all.
Right.
Oh, this has been such a joy. Thank you for bearing with me and all of my technical difficulties this week.
Yeah, no, this has been awesome. You're awesome. So thanks for having
Thank
me.
you. So, where can everybody find you? Tell the people if they want to come and find Jolly, where do they find you?
So you can find us on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. You can find us on all platforms at SOCO Paranormal. Just be watching out for us. We are going to start hosting our own investigations here. We are a company now. We are SOCO Paranormal LLC. So
Ooh,
we'll be taking people ghost hunting. We have a couple different places like the Cripple Creek Jail, the prison. I'm trying to get us into our local Catholic Abbey here, which is supposedly very haunted as well. So just be on the lookout for us on that aspect. And if you guys want to come ghost hunting with Jolly and Randy and SoCo Paranormal, let us know.
so cool. Thank you so much. I'm new.
Okay, and if other than YouTube, where can we find you at?
I am on all podcast platforms as Ghost Gossip.
Ghost Gossip. Awesome. I
Yep.
will definitely start promoting.
Oh, one more question. Have you ever been to the Stanley?
I hadn't. So I've been to the Stanley for a comedy show. I've never stayed there. The one recommendation that I'm going to say about the Stanley for anybody that wants to go to the Stanley is the Stanley is an old hotel. They have multiple new hotels built around there. So people that believe that they're going to actually stay at the Stanley, make sure you request that hotel because they're going to say that the other buildings are a part of the Stanley. Those are all brand new and you're not actually getting that historical side of it. So if you want to go to the Stanley, make sure you say that you want to stay at the original Stanley and you don't get kind of
Bamboozled.
bamboozled for it. Yeah. So that's what I would recommend. And I would I would recommend it. It's beautiful and hopefully haunted.
I think so. I did an episode on it and I was like, that's on my list to go to.
Yes, it's absolutely, Estes Park is absolutely beautiful and I highly recommend it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon.
You're awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. That was an amazing episode. Thank you, Jolly, for joining us and sharing your journey with the paranormal with my listeners. I totally appreciate it. And that was awesome to get to know you and hear your stories. And thank you for participating in my first ever rapid fire. Cannot wait to follow along on your journey as you continue to grow in the paranormal community. Find Jolly at SOCO Paranormal. I will have his YouTube and his Instagram and his TikTok linked in the show notes. You can also follow me while you are there. I am on YouTube at Ghost Gossip 24/7, on TikTok, Ghost Gossip Pod, on Instagram, Ghost Gossip Podcast, and you can email me all of your ghost gossip, or if you want to be a guest on the show, at ghostgossip247@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you give Ghost Gossip a 5-star rating and follow and subscribe and do all the things. I am trying to get monetized, so I actually need about 2,000 people to stream on Spotify. So if you would share, I'd really appreciate it. Everywhere else, I'm good. I'm just missing 2,000 people to listen to me. We're getting there. We are 10% in. Oh boy. Anyway, thank you for listening. And until next time, they'll see you later.